book Big Magic again. We are on part 3 of Permission. This book is by Elizabeth Gilbert, and we're just excited. This is actually my favorite section of the book so far.
It is.
Permission, if you have the book, please follow along with us. If you guys turn to page 88, the middle paragraph, you want to write a book, make a song, direct a movie, decorate pottery, learn a dance, explore a new land. You want to draw a penis on your wall?
Do it.
Do it. Who cares? It's your birthright as a human being. So do with the cheerful heart. Let inspiration lead you wherever it wants to lead you. So keep in mind that for most of history, people just made things and they didn't have to make such a big freaking deal out of it. So what is your inspiration? What do you want to do? We want to hear from you. Please let us know in the comments below.
But yeah, don't let it stop you. Even if you think it's crazy, just do it.
Just do it. Who cares? In the grand scheme of things, it's not that big of a deal. Do you? She goes on to say on page 90, some people hold back, is what she's saying, from doing things because they need other people's approval. But why wait for other people to give you a permission slip to do what you want to do in life? That's what makes this world so beautiful, is because that we're all different. And we all have different dreams, goals, passions, visions. So do whatever makes you happy. Decorate, be creative. Draw, paint, play the piano, whatever you want to do. And you don't need a permission slip to do this. And if you do, we just gave you one. So go out and do it.
Because Elizabeth Gilbert gave us ours.
Yes.
So we're giving it to you. Just do it. You don't need to ask anybody's permission. You are your own boss. You don't have to ask anybody to do it. So just go out there and do it. So yeah, so on page 92 it talks about entitlement. And here she says, creative entitlement simply means believing that you are allowed to be here, and that merely being here, you are allowed to have a voice and have a vision of your own. You have to understand that you are entitled to be here. You are here. You are allowed to have a voice, a vision. You are allowed to be heard. You are allowed to create. You are here. Make the most of it. And that's how I took that statement.
I did too, and I have a problem sometimes with feeling like, okay, well, I'm not as smart as this person. I don't really need to say anything because my opinion really doesn't matter anyway. And what I'm trying to say, who really cares about me and what I have to say? It could be something at work. It could be something with my friends. But it's like, sometimes it's like, well, I'm the ugly friend or I'm the fat friend. So I really shouldn't say anything.
No. But I know what you're feeling. At work, I feel like I should just fly under the radar. Like, I never speak up. I never want to voice my opinion because I'm like, they're like, who are they? They're not going to take me seriously. Like, they're going to be like, who are you? You know? But now I feel like I work here. I'm part of the team. I'm okay. They're going to listen to me. And whatever I have a voice.
And, you know, I think it goes back by her saying that we all have insecurities and we all feel less than sometimes. But just knowing that you are somebody and you have a right to be here on this earth. God created you as well as He created everybody else. Your opinion does count. What you make matters. You as a human being matters. So say something. Remember that. Have the courage to create. On page 95, the last paragraph, she says, speak to your darkest and most negative interior voices, the way a hostage negotiator speaks to a violent psychopath, calmly but firmly. Most of all, never back down. She goes on to say, you can never afford to back down. The life you're negotiating to save, after all, is your very own. This means no matter what, how I took this is no matter how I'm feeling, how inferior I'm feeling sometimes, it's still important to speak up, create, know that I have a right to be on this earth. I have a right to be places, and my opinion, my voice, my thoughts, creations should be heard.
Exactly. So the next part, she talks about originality versus authenticity. Here she says, well, yes, it probably has already been done. Most things have already been done, but they have not yet been done by you. And that is very important. Like, we're like this journal club. There's many of them on YouTube. Why are we going to do this? But then we thought about it. I was like, look, she just said it. They haven't been done by us. They haven't had our little twists or anything to it. So it's going to be different. So don't be afraid to do whatever has already been done, because you have your own originality, and whatever you put on it is going to be different. So what do you have that you think you want to do? Check it out. Try it.
And we would love to hear, just in the comments, shoot us a comment. We want to interact with you and hear what your examples are, what your thoughts of this book, what your thoughts of everything of life. Have you been in a situation where you have felt inferior but stood up for yourself? Anything like that. Whatever you want to do, let us know.
Exactly. At the end of that part on page 98, she just says, just say what you want to say. Then say it with all your heart. Share whatever you are driven to share. If it's authentic enough, believe me, it will feel original. So just be you. Say what you need to say what you want to say. It will be different and it will be original.
And just to further elaborate that point, on page 99, in the middle paragraph, essentially the very middle there, they start with I once. So she says, I once wrote a book in order to save myself. I wrote a travel memoir in order to make sense of my own journey and my emotional confusion. All I was trying to do with that book was figure myself out. In the process, though, I wrote a story about that apparently helped a lot of other people figure themselves out. But that was never my intention. She then goes on to say, whatever you do, don't do it for everybody else. Do it for you. Create for you. Because once you start seeking the approval of everybody else, that pressure becomes on and you become less original, like Zim was saying. When you try to be like people and other people, that authenticity doesn't come out. And when the authenticity doesn't come out, then you're essentially like everybody else. But if you do it for you and you create for you, and if you can help people in the process, great. But she does say, if you're writing a book, don't write it for other people. If you're writing a song, don't sing it for other people. Sing it for you. What speaks to you. And I think this means a lot to me. On my nursing YouTube video channel, I made a really original video, and it was for me. It was funny. I thought it was really cool. But I wasn't really getting a lot of hits, so I'm like, well, oh my gosh, I need to switch up my videos and make them more like everybody else so that other people will watch them. But looking back at it now, my original video got more hits than any other video that I put out. But it was true, and I think that my authenticity came through, and it was so unique because that was speaking to me and the way I see the world, and it was more creating art. So looking back at this, my idea and how I'm going to move forward is I'm going to create things for me. And if other people enjoy them, great. But if they don't, I created it for me, and it's not going to stop me because I don't need anyone else's permission.
So on the next, moving on, she goes into talking about teachers and how people will go to these schools and want their teachers to train them and everything. But she makes a valid point about no matter how great your teachers may be and no matter how esteemed your academy's reputation, eventually you will have to do the work by yourself. And I think Danielle wanted to touch up on this.
I did, Tim. Thank you very much. So, and I think that just goes back to what she says here. It's like no matter how esteemed your academy's reputation is, like she said in the book, eventually you can't depend on your degrees to get you anywhere, what you've done in the past. I've published papers in the past, but honestly, now it doesn't matter. People don't care, and I'm sure you don't care either. It's like, what are you doing now? So to me, it meant more than just relying on your academy's reputation, but also not relying on your past achievements, but going forward and continuing to create and continue to being inspired and original. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
That's good.
115.
115.
Zion.
Okay, so she talks about she moves on and talks about people complaining. She says here, quit your complaining. It's not the world's fault that you want to be an artist. It's not the world's job to enjoy the films you make. And it's certainly not the world's obligation to pay for your dreams. Nobody wants to hear it. So steal a camera if you must, but stop whining and get back to work. People complain about how difficult it is and how they can't be successful and get into where they want to be, but it's your choice. You wanted to be this creative person, so don't complain and just keep doing it and do what you enjoy and love. If you enjoy it and you love it, there's no need to be complaining because that's what you want to do. You wanted to be an artist, be an artist. You want to be a singer, go sing. If you enjoy it, you won't be complaining, right?
For shizzle.
So she shows so she starts on page 117. She starts talking about complaining. So she says, first of all, just stop complaining. It's annoying. And secondly, of course it's difficult to create things. If it wasn't difficult, everyone would be doing it and it wouldn't be special or interesting. And third, no one really listens to anybody else's complaints because everyone is just involved in themselves. They're worried about themselves. They don't want to hear you. And fourth, you're scaring away inspiration. You're complaining, you're not putting effort, you're not putting in your passion and your love into your work. Inspiration's gonna leave you. They don't want to hang around. So find your creativity, put all your work and heart and soul into it and enjoy it. Just don't complain. No one has time for you to complain. No one wants to listen to it because everyone's wrapped up in their own lives, their own work.
And even Gemini, when we read this, it's just, we realized how hard it is not to complain. It's so easy to find complaints about everything. I'm tired, I don't feel like it, they took too long at work, such and such was mean to me today. But honestly, like, who is that helping? And what are we putting out in the world? So yeah, complaining, even if you have a valid right to do so, it helps nobody, not even yourself.
It just brings that negativity into your work and you don't.
On page 121, it's one of my favorite in this book, and it's helped me grow so much. She says, and I'll tell you why after I read this to you. Never delude yourself into believing that you require someone else's blessing, or even their comprehension, in order to make your own creative work. And always remember that people's judgments about you are none of your business. So, and she says, essentially how I took that is, I don't really need anybody else's approval to do anything. I had hair before, it was up here, and it was really pretty, but I had worn it like that for 7 years, and I just wanted to reinvent myself. I wanted a different look, but if I let it grow out on the sides, it would look all crazy. So I said, well, let me just chop it off and see what it says. Well, I went to work and I get so many comments. Why did you do that? You look like a boy. You're never going to get married. Grow your hair. What were you thinking? But relating back to Elizabeth Gilbert's book, it's my life. If I want to do this and be creative with myself, who are you to say no? I don't need your permission to cut my hair. I don't need your permission to grow hair down to my ankles. It's not up to you. It's not your business. And that's how I essentially, and I kind of said that to people in a nice way. Why did you cut your hair? Because I can, essentially. I can do it, and I don't need your permission slip to do it.
Exactly. And as it says here, people's judgments about you are their own business. It's not yours. So that they can have their judgments, but you shouldn't care about it, and you don't need their permission. Do what you want to do.
And it makes you less authentic and less original when you comply to what everybody else's expectations and their judgments are of you, because you're just fitting into their world versus living your own. And that's essentially, cutting my hair has been one of the most liberating things. And provided sometimes I do feel like a boy, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I look kind of not cute sometimes. Sometimes I look ugly. But I decided to do it, and I didn't need anybody's permission to do so.
But I love it, and on the flip side, she still gets a lot of compliments.
Some.
ain't what you, it ain't what they call you, it's what you answer to. And that statement just summarizes it all. People can call you anything, ugly, fat, smart, pretty, you know, any negative and positive, but it's what you answer to. The positive or the negatives is what you see yourself to. So kind of just answer to whatever you are willing to accept is what you're answering to.
To summarize, we are talking about Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. We just covered section 3, permission.
One of our favorite topics.
Yes.
Love it.
So thanks for watching our video. Please share your comments. We want to interact. Tell us what you think, and if you watch this and just any ideas or inspirations, anything, examples, we want to hear them. And subscribe to our channel. Bye guys. We've already went over part 1.